Welcome to C.A.U.K Radio. This edition is sponsored by Love to Fight, the UK online MMA magazine. Get over to lovetofight.com now for all the best news, reviews and interviews. It's a special show for us today. This is our TNA Impact edition. It's a big year for TNA in the UK. And on this show we've got the special guests Holly and Hannah, the Blossoms, the Bootcamp stars, along with Marti, Scurll and Rockstar Spud. These girls have got through a big competition on TNA and it's down to the last three. TNA is now 10 years old and the UK fans are probably the biggest supporters of this. This is shown by it being shown on Challenge TV every Sunday at 9 PM, Tuesdays at 10. We've also got the jobber blogger, Dan Wilkinson, who I'm going to bring in now. He's our TNA expert and we're going to catch up with him what's been going on with TNA throughout the year. Hi Dan, how you doing?
I'm right, thank you. How are you?
Oh, brilliant. Good, mate, thanks. Dan, quite a productive year in TNA all round. First thing I wanted to ask you is, what's your thoughts on the boot camp?
I think it's actually a really good thing that they're doing. I mean, I've always liked TNA best. They seem to be a bit more in tune with probably like British wrestling. I mean, particularly like Doug Williams and Magnus and Rob Terry being quite pivotal players in TNA, and I think it's nice to see British wrestling represented well.
It was announced, I think, August or September. I was at the TNA fan party. I mean, it was brilliant. So you got Rockstar Spud, Marti, Scurll, and the Blossoms, who are also on the show. Who do you think's going to win? Do you know much about them pre-TNA boot camp?
Not about all of them. I saw Spud quite a few years ago, I think, at Doncaster Dome. He did a 1PW show. It was something I'll probably go into it with a bit of a biased opinion. But I'm looking forward to see how it turns out, and I think it's good for Challenge TV as well to actually put it on. So good things should come out of it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're big fans of the Blossoms at C.A.U.K, so we're really hopeful the girls are going to win. I like Marti as well and Rockstar, but I think the girls could probably bring a bit more because the women's division,
agree with you on that one, yeah.
You know, the women's division could do with a couple of twins in it, quite frankly. Dan, let's go back to the beginning of the year. Let's go through the year of TNA. I mean, probably one of the first big shows was the Wembley show in January.
Yeah.
Did you go to the show?
I didn't, unfortunately. I think was that the first time that they'd done Impact outside of the States?
I think they'd come the year before as well. I think it may have been the second time.
In terms of doing like a televised event.
It was a great show. I mean, the only thing as a fan was that they recorded two shows in one night, so you kind of saw the same thing twice. But I mean, that's how the Americans do things. So
yeah. Well,
what do you think's been the high point of TNA this year?
I think it's hard to necessarily pick out one specific thing. I mean, for me personally, I'd say it was probably Bobby Roode with his 9-month World Championship reign. Personally, I think Roode's had probably the best title reign in professional wrestling since like 2003 with Triple H's original run.
Yeah, he's a great. I mean, Beer Money, that was a great tag team as well, wasn't it? And it's kind of hard to split a tag team and get them to both go in a positive direction, but they seem to have made it work with these two.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that I think, for my money, I think Roode's probably the best overall, like, developed wrestler in the industry, in my opinion, from like a physical standpoint and from character work and mic skills. I think is probably like the full package, really.
What about Austin Aries? There's a lot of hype about Austin Aries the last couple of months.
There is. I mean, I made a note. I'd say that 2012 is probably the year of Austin Aries, really, in terms of how he stepped up. I obviously didn't prefer him to Roode in terms of carrying the title, but I mean, Aries' work speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean, I'd say Aries is the top 5 matches of the year. I think Aries has had most of them.
Which ones in particular will you say is his best match this year?
His best match, I think about this as well, but I'd have to go with his first match with Bully Ray at Sacrifice. I mean, straight below that would be with Samoa Joe, but I do think Aries and Bully Ray did things that I certainly wasn't expecting them to perform on that higher level.
Interesting you talk about Bully Ray because, I mean, he's another one lately. His characters, he seems to be turning babyface or slowly turning babyface. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, yeah. I think it's a smart move, as long as he doesn't like lose what appeals to him as a character in the first place. Because obviously, wrestling has a tendency to turn the popular heels babyface too quickly, and then they just lose what people liked about them. So I mean, if Bully Ray can keep that sort of neutral ground, I think it'd certainly be the best for it.
I mean, they've got some top stars in there, really. I mean, we spoke about Hulk Hogan earlier on. I mean, his wages must be phenomenal. But do
Yeah.
you think he's worth the wages that they'll be paying him for to bring wrestling to TNA?
As I was saying to you, I mean, if you compare it to WWE and you look at like Ryback or Sheamus, I mean, in my opinion, they put me off watching it because they don't feel developed enough. I mean, with the two guys of Bobby Roode and James Storm, I mean, since Hogan's been part of Impact Wrestling, they feel like big time stars in the industry now. I feel like they have more hype about them than someone like Sheamus, and I think that comes with the experience that Hogan can bring personally.
What about, do you think a big day for, I think a real changing point for TNA was when Kurt Angle come over back in probably, was it 2007?
Yeah, or late 2006, sometime like then. But yeah,
That's,
that's certainly high caliber star to get Angle on board. And to his credit, it's stuck around as well, which I think is even better.
I think a lot of what Kurt Angle I've seen him say is that the regime at WWE was intense every day, different town, different place. But with Impact, where their shows in the same place every week, I
Yeah,
think a lot of the wrestlers it's a bit more of a rest company where they can get a lot more rest than they could in perhaps WWE.
yeah. I know, like Matt Hardy has been mentioning it for quite a while that WWE should have an off period at times because it's every day, isn't it? It's all go. So I mean, for a lot of other people, I mean, TNA offers enough to do what you want to do from a wrestling standpoint, but gives you enough free time to pursue outside of it as well.
And you've been doing. How long have you been doing? You've been blogging for us. It must be 3 or 4 months now. How long have you been doing your blog for from TNA?
It's just over 6 months.
Just over
I know,
six.
yeah,
So you've been watching it. How long have you been watching it for? Obviously, quite a few years by the sounds of it.
yeah. I mean, I watched TNA in terms of every week, and I tuned in since the January show in 2010. But I mean, I was watching TNA back around 2004 around that time, and
Yeah,
I've seen
I
seen a
remember
lot of
the
it.
early stuff with AJ Styles was around early on, wasn't he? Samoa Joe was there and thereabouts.
Yeah, I think I watched it just as Samoa Joe came on board.
And what do you think of people? There's a lot of people that say, "Oh, TNA's big competition for WWE," blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's the case. I think WWE have got their own brand, TNA have got their brand. I don't see it as a competition. Do you?
No, I agree. I think I think when they first started, when Hogan and Bischoff first came on board, I think they were looking at it as a competitive nature. But I think they've decided since then that they're just going to do what they think would be the best wrestling company today, and just go their separate ways. But I mean, more interesting of late, I think WWE's paying much more attention to what TNA is doing because there's so many similarities between them. So I mean, there's lots of talk about Vince losing his steam in the WWE and the ratings dropping and trying to make a bit more of an edgier product. I think they actually are losing, in my opinion. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan for a long, long time, and WWE's lost me as a viewer, really. I mean, I come back to watch it with big stars from 10 years ago, but apart from that, I don't really have any interest. And I think TNA's got that hardcore wrestling fan base that I think they're lacking.
Oh, definitely. I mean, same for me, really, WWE. I mean, I think a lot of people our sort of age say the Austin era, the Rock era was the best times, Foley, Triple H, D-Generation X and all them, and a lot of people have died. But do you think that's because of the PG rating? Do you think they've
I
aimed
wouldn't
their
even,
audience at children more, haven't they, WWE?
yeah. I mean, from a business point of view, it's smart because that's where your money is. But it's, I don't think, because I mean, people complain about the chair shots and blood and stuff, but I don't think that makes wrestling. I think they've gone. I mean, like John Cena's been like the only developed star they've had in 10 years. I mean, CM Punk's there, but Punk had to build it himself. He didn't have because I mean, as you just mentioned, I mean, in the '90s there was so many different characters and there's so many different storylines that came from it. I mean, they planned the storylines so far in advance as well. Because I mean, Vince Russo always started every year by writing stories for everyone. Whereas now, I mean, they're making decisions before, an hour before the show starts, and I think they just don't have enough planning, and I think they're forcing it too much, and you're not developing styles, you're not developing stories.
So do you
I
think
think,
back to basics, really, back to the wrestling?
yeah, I mean, TNA's put it forward already that I mean they're writing their stories months and months and months in advance, So I mean, that's the smart thing to do, and they're sticking by it. I mean, some of them fall flat, obviously, like the Claire Lynch one. But I mean, that's how you build stories.
Dan,
And
that
that's
was
how
my
you keep
next
people.
question about that AJ Styles and Claire Lynch. That was an awful story, wasn't it? I mean,
It was.
it got hit on the head quite quickly, didn't it? I mean, but it did go for 3 or 4 weeks, and it was like, does anyone care? You know, is this really part of the show? I was quite disappointed with that. And when they took it off air, I thought that was the best decision.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But I mean, there's lots of talk between like Daniels and AJ um, in the background saying that it does actually build to something. And I have a suspicion that the reason why they're doing the current Brooke Hogan Bully Ray is because I think they might have kept the story alive but just switched the characters.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they obviously had something to build to, but it just didn't. It's not why people want to watch wrestling.
No, no, definitely. I mean, like British wrestling is more about the wrestling.
It
And
is, yeah.
if you listen to rumours, apparently WWE and they're all looking at British wrestling to take the companies forward. I mean, I don't know how true that is, but I think it'd be a wise idea.
It would.
And just quickly, Dan, as well, I mean, what was for you, what's the highlight of this year with TNA? What was the best match you saw or best pay-per-view?
Best match again, I'd say would be Aries and Bully Ray from Sacrifice, but my personal favourite pay-per-view would be Slammiversary. I think overall that just had the best card.
And I read, I don't know if you watch Wrestle Talk TV, but apparently they're getting rid of 2 of the TNA pay-per-views.
There has been talk about it, yeah.
So there'd be 10 a year as opposed to 12.
Personally, I think they should do maybe 6 a year.
Yeah, yeah. Because, I mean, that's what happened with WWE. They had Raw and SmackDown and they both do individual pay-per-views, which to me was kind of like, is that the right idea? Or
Yeah, that put me off as well.
And
But I think, yeah, go on.
to look at who have we got to look out for in 2013? I mean, I said earlier, Bully Ray seems to be, you know, something's happening with Bully Ray. I don't know whether he is going to turn babyface or. It'd be nice though. I think Bully would deserve a shot at the title maybe at some point next year.
Yeah, I definitely think Bully Ray's long overdue for a title run. I mean, he's capable of carrying it. He's probably got the best character on the show, really, and his mic skills no one can touch him in that department.
No, definitely not. And wrestling as well. I mean, his
And
ability as a tag team wrestler, he was brilliant. But I think he's excelled so much since becoming a singles wrestler.
yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So we got a lot of Garrett Bischoff now. We've got a lot of these younger lads. Who do you think we need to look out for next year, Dan?
Personally, I mean, I put it down as best newcomer. I'd say Kenny King. I think
Yeah.
is. I mean, I don't tend to get. You need time to develop his styles, but I mean, Kenny King came in straight away is impressive, and you want to watch what more he can do. So, I mean, his last match just this past week with RVD is a sure sign of great things to come. So I think he's one to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, RVD's another one. He's always been around, but he's always sort of been in the background, hasn't he?
Yeah, I do think that's down to his. He doesn't want to play heel characters, and I think wrestling's very much decided by stories. And if you can't really place him in the story, you can't really develop him over much.
No, you need to be able to play both parts, really, don't you, to succeed?
Yeah, I mean, he's just very whatever.
Well, Dan, it's been brilliant chatting to you, mate. Thanks for taking the time to come on and discuss the year with us.
Right.
We're definitely looking forward to the job of blogger in 2013.
Yeah, we'll keep
And
happening.
hopefully you keep writing for us, mate, because we both enjoy reading it every week, and we're getting a good little fan base for you now on C.A.U.K. So thank you very much for taking the time today and for giving us your blogs every week.
Yeah, well, thank you for putting on the site. Thank you for having me.
And we'll get you back on maybe in February time, Dan, and we'll catch up with what's been going on in the start of the year, yeah? And obviously we'll catch up on British Bootcamp as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you very much, Dan. We'll speak to you
Thank
soon.
you. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Well, there you go. That's the Jobber Blogger's view of TNA in 2012. Now, on to 2013 with our very, very special guests. I'm so happy to have these girls on the show. Talking of TNA, it's the Bootcamp stars, Holly and Hannah. Yeah! Okay, welcome to C.A.U.K Radio. We are now with TNA Bootcamp stars, Holly and Hannah. Hello, ladies.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, thank you. How are you?
We're good, thank you.
So, to start, what have you been up to since the TNA fan party? Because obviously that was the big announcement for the boot camp that you girls are going on. Has it been hectic since then?
Oh my gosh, we've done, I think, everything since then. It's been a crazy few months. Honestly, it feels like we've been on a roller coaster, and it's been just one amazing experience after the next. Just from training and working harder than ever to just getting the opportunity to do so many things that we always dreamed of. It's been incredible.
Brilliant. Because, I mean, a lot of fans in England who don't watch so much of the UK stuff, who are probably more into WWE and TNA, they probably won't realise how long you girls have actually been doing wrestling. It's been quite a few years now, hasn't it?
It has. January will be 8 years that we've been doing it. So we were around the UK scene for about 5 years before we headed to OVW. So yeah, we've been around for a little while.
So how did you first get into wrestling then, ladies?
It just I guess like most people, we were just watching it on TV. Our brother introduced us to it because he was watching it one Saturday, and we sat with him and watched it. And then we got absolutely hooked. We saw the Hardy Boys, and that was it. Like, the rest was history. We just kind of watched it every weekend, got absolutely obsessed with just the whole world of it. And by the time we were 14, we knew it was what we wanted to do. So we looked up our local wrestling schools, and just before, I think 2 weeks before we turned 16, we went to our first training session. And
haven't looked back.
Yeah.
So you've been involved with a lot of the top promotions in this country and abroad now. I mean, OVW is obviously one of them. It's a big training ground in America. Did you find it different wrestling at OVW compared to like what we do in the UK?
Yes, because OVW is incredibly professional. Obviously, with it being developmental territories, for a lot of the big companies over the years, it's, obviously it's very professional. They have TV shows every week, so you get to learn. You're not just going there to learn the basics of wrestling. You're learning TV, you're learning how to work in front of the cameras, and you're being trained by the likes of Danny Davis and Rick Rogers and Jim Cornette and Al Snow. So obviously what we learned here was, valuable to our wrestling, and being who we are today. But going over to OVW, it really helped us and progressed and just made us learn, what I don't think obviously we have over here or like in a training school.
Because OVW, I mean, it's got Batista, John Cena, so many great wrestlers have come from there, haven't they?
Yes, definitely.
But it's more of a TNA. It used to be WWE, is that right? And now it's TNA's more for TNA territory.
It's now TNA, yes.
And the two fellas in the boot camp with you, Marti, Scurll and Rockstar Spud, obviously.
Yeah.
What's it been like with these two? Because it's blatantly everywhere that they absolutely hate each other.
Yeah.
Has it been difficult with the two guys? Have they been getting on okay, or?
It has been quite difficult because we found ourselves, right in the middle of things at times, and they just you couldn't sit in somewhere for 5 minutes without them arguing over something. Like something would come up and you'd just think, oh my God, it's like we work with kids and it's like being back with the kids. Because they just could not sit in a room and have a civilized conversation. So it was quite frustrating at times, and that's why obviously everybody's saying with the show there's lots of different personalities that kind of clash at times, and then other times we got on with Marti quite well, and Spud, we tried our best, but he's maybe a little bit too much talking for our liking. Yeah.
Obviously did you watch Wrestle Talk TV on Sunday?
We did, yeah.
We saw it.
So you obviously saw what Kurt Angle had to say about you girls. Did they tell you this at the beginning about obviously this muscle-bound bodies? I mean, is that an issue, do you think?
Any criticism, we think we're very good at taking criticism, because obviously we've said it before in that we always want to be improving and learning with wrestling, and it's absolutely what we love to do, and we never stop learning. So again, Kurt Angle saying, something like that, it just makes you step up your game, and, it really just motivates you. And the fact that he noticed us enough to, say something can give us that bit of advice. Who would have thought when we were watching Kurt Angle all those years ago that he would be talking about us? So, no, it's definitely just made us step up our game. Our brother's a personal trainer, so we've been asking him advice, and you watch the girls and they're absolutely incredible, and
we know there's always room for us to improve ourselves.
With your body, with everything. So yeah, that's just something that again, it's just we have to work on, and
we're happy to do that.
Yeah, we're happy to do
take
that.
the criticism, and obviously
make yourself better.
Constructive criticism, yeah. So.
Do you not think though that maybe they should be looking more at what you can do wrestling wise as opposed to what you look like?
Well, to be honest though, he's like they said in the interview we read, he did notice like our wrestling, and he said like about the fact that he watched us and he noticed what we could do, and he was impressed. So that was just another little thing that he had on the side for to, I guess, to make us aware of, step it up, because now you're at the big time.
And you know it when you're watching it growing up, and obviously the world of wrestling, celebrity, anything, it's all about, you got to work on how you look. And we do take pride in the fact that we are who we are, and we do, you don't want to look like everybody else. So we still have that in the back of our minds that, we want to be great at wrestling. We want to be able to show people that. But, obviously we can still work on it and still, look a certain way. But, ultimately we're still going to be us and, do what we can do. So, yeah.
So you both work in a school together, that's right, isn't it? Is it a infant school, is it, or play school?
Primary school.
Primary school. How are the kids going to feel if you have to leave to go to America?
To be honest, the kids are very, very excited. I mean, this past year, obviously, we've sort of had the break from OVW and travelling, and it's been, we absolutely love working with kids, and it's fired us up. TNA came at such the right time, because we were working every day and coming home, and when we found out that was happening and we got to tell a lot of the kids and talk to them about it, they were so supportive and so excited. So seeing them react to it, one little boy in particular who I work closely with and got to talk about wrestling a lot, it motivated me so much, to push forward and to make my dream come true, just to see his face, and see him smile, and so that was just a really good fire, under your butt to make it happen. So I absolutely loved that, and it's been fantastic.
I can't think of anything cooler than having two twin wrestlers to look after you at school. That is awesome.
A lot of people don't believe it.
Yeah, most
they're like, really? They're like, can you go on YouTube? And you're thinking, oh, okay.
Girls, I've seen in the new year that Marti and Spud are booked in Sittingbourne in February.
Yeah.
Is this a clue as to who's actually won TNA Bootcamp, or is this just just promotional thing?
No, that's just promotional thing. Those guys work really, really hard, and
I think it's about time they got in the ring and kicked each other's butt.
Yeah, at the end of this competition. No, we honestly have no idea right now what's going to happen and where it's going to go. So it is exciting and very nerve-wracking at the same time.
So Bootcamp starts January the 1st on Challenge.
Yes.
When will we find out who's won Bootcamp? Is that going to be at the end of January?
Yeah, I think just before the tour starts. I think that's when.
So, I think it was it you, Hannah, who wrestled Mickie James?
Yes, it was. Well, we were kind of. You have to watch the match.
I did see it. Was that the double act where one of you's under the ring?
Yes, we were a little bit naughty during that match. It was Mickie James, so we did need a lot of. We may have taken advantage of the twin thing there a little bit, because she's incredibly awesome. So
she's obviously on TNA at the moment. So what was it like to wrestle someone of Mickie James's? I mean, she's been around a long time now. It must have been great for you to know you was going to get in the ring with her.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic to actually think. Again, just watching her from when we were younger, and she is somebody who we've really admired and has been a big inspiration for us. So to get that opportunity, we were very, very nervous, and she's just incredible and absolutely fantastic. So it definitely motivates us with the TNA thing, because obviously with her being on the roster, she's somebody we'll want to get into the ring with, over and over again, so yeah, we look forward to that.
And obviously TNA's come a really long way in the last 10 years. I think since Dixie Carter and that got involved as well, obviously it's come even further. So how does it feel to know that maybe in 6 weeks' time you're going to be on that roster?
It's one of those very surreal moments to think that you've worked so hard for something, and then finally you have finally things are coming together. Finally, it's within arm's reach of actually being somewhere that you've got the likes of Hulk Hogan, Sting, the Angle, like we said, and to know that, and Jeff Hardy, to think that all those years ago we watched the Hardy Boys and they got us into wrestling, and then wanting to do it, and then inspiring us to get in the ring ourselves. So then fast forward 8 years and be like, right, now we actually have the chance to be in the same company as Jeff Hardy, and it's like mind-boggling, really, to actually say those words. Like, you really can't describe the feeling of just being. It's
really
exciting. It's like one of those things where obviously we're big advocates of whatever you believe, whatever you dream, just go for it. So for us to actually be thinking this is our dream coming true is just amazing.
You think TNA have done well in a way? I mean, if you go back, say, maybe 3 years, it looked like all TNA were doing was taking WWE's scraps, so to speak, wasn't it? Someone would get fired and TNA would take them, but it's certainly changed a lot the last year or so.
Oh, it has. They're definitely a company as far as just being creative. Even just, obviously we say with the TNA British Bootcamp, it's new, it's exciting, it's fresh, and with the talent on the roster now and the younger guys, and it really is a place where you can just go and you can see all these, it's exciting, and you never know what's going to happen. It's becoming more and more innovative, and we love it as well just because of the women, with Dixie Carter coming in. She really, takes pride in showing what the girls can do, and I think that's a fantastic, place to be, as far as being a girl goes, but, even for the guys, it really is just a really exciting place to be.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, when Kurt Angle went there, I think that changed the company as well, because no one really knew. There was rumours he was going to go to the UFC, rumours he was going to do other stuff. Then he turned up. As soon as he turned up on TNA, I think that changed the way the company was going to go, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, girls, I've got some questions for some fans now, from some fans of yours. If I'll read out their names, if you can just say hello to them, and I'll read you the question, if that's all right.
That's fine.
We've got a girl called Maria. She's from Kent and she's 11.
Oh, hi, Maria.
She wants to know from both of you, if you could both wrestle any female wrestler from any era, who would you choose?
Ooh. Okay, Hannah. I would love. There's a long list of girls we really do admire. But I really would, probably just for this question, I would love to say Trish Stratus, just because. Again, from watching her since we were, 12 years old, she really did change women's wrestling, and just the businesswoman she is and everything, we just admire her so much. So there's a lot of women I'd love to wrestle, but I'd definitely say Trish Stratus.
Okay,
just to pick one.
Okay, just to be different, and obviously in-ring ability and everything too, I would go for Molly Holly or Nora Greenwald, just because of the fact that she was so incredible in the ring, and I think it would be a fun learning opportunity to get in the ring with her.
It seems as well that we've all got our favourite eras in wrestling, so you two have picked two wrestlers probably from a very similar era. So that's kind of when your wrestling was at its best, would you say?
We got into it 2000, the era of the Hardy Boys and the TLC and all that kind of thing. So tag teams were really strong then, so that's another reason, we just loved it. And the girls were really cool then too, so yeah.
Brilliant. We've got one from Max. He's 36 from Leeds.
Hi, Max.
He said, if you got offered a WWE contract right at this second, knowing you'd lose everything that you got at TNA at the moment, would you take it?
No. I would say no. Yeah. At the moment, we are absolutely having a blast with all the TNA stuff, all the stuff we've done in the past few months. We couldn't have dreamed. It's just been absolutely fantastic, and there's so many people in TNA right now that we want to wrestle, and we feel like our abilities and what we kind of want to, I guess, show is
they can help you. People like Gail Kim are going to help you and get better and improve and just be the best wrestler that you can be. And also with everything that we've been doing the past couple of months with TNA, the fact that we've had opportunities, I guess, with WWE in the past, and but the fact that TNA have taken believed in us and have taken time to let us shine and give us an opportunity. We are so grateful and appreciative of that we just want to, we just want to go in there and just show what we can do and kick butt and, be in TNA. So definitely.
It's a fantastic environment.
I don't know if you think the same as well, because I've thought about this with TNA. So you've got John Cena in WWE, who's been the top dog for years now, and he probably will be for years longer. You've got Kurt Angle, who's, is the best wrestler in TNA, but they don't push him forward. They give everyone a chance. Do you think that as well?
I think that definitely. I think they have people of, like him who are just absolutely incredible.
Anybody is going to learn from him.
And all the younger guys can learn from him. But I think that's one thing that makes TNA very exciting is the fact that they do push
Everyone's a
everybody.
star.
Everybody's a star in their own right, and definitely through this competition, they've allowed us to do that. They've allowed each one of us to be who we are and to shine and to show what we're capable of, and I think that's a really nice thing about that company.
Yeah, no, I don't think you could beat it. It seems less corporate at the moment than WWE.
Yeah, they do things their own way.
Well, I've got a good one from Sarah. She's 29 from Manchester.
Hi, Sarah. From Manchester. From Manchester.
She says, this is a good one, I think. If you do win at Bootcamp, will you be at the Manchester show in January?
We are dreaming and have our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We would absolutely love to be at. There's talks obviously because we can be here anywhere, and when they tell us that we need to be somewhere, it's like it's all go. So we're fingers crossed, and we're really, really hoping that we'll all
That
be
would definitely be a tick off the list.
Yes,
Man.
that would be incredible.
This is definitely, one person's definitely going to get this. We're not going to see Rockstar Spud turn up in a mask in TNA in about 3 months if you girls win.
We'll kick it out if he does. I'm joking. The one person's definitely winning this.
Or two.
Or two in our case.
Got another one from Dave, 48 from Scotland.
Hi, Dave.
He said, what is the best indie show you have worked on in the UK and why?
Oh, that's a tricky one. We've really been enjoying the Pro Wrestling Eve shows that we've done this year, just because it's been really great to see all the girls come together. And the last match we had there,
we've got to wrestle some people that we wouldn't have thought about before. Like we wrestled, help us with the names, but like the Japanese lady at the last Pro Wrestling Eve show. So where we get to wrestle quite a diverse group of girls, and they're all incredibly passionate and hardworking. So those shows have been very fun for us this year.
And we always love when we come home doing Future Shock Wrestling, just because that was the place we started out. So anytime we get to do those shows and it's right around the corner from where we live, it shows you how far you've come, and we've really enjoyed. We've really had some great times, like on the British scene, and some promotions that I guess aren't around now, like GMP, that we used to travel down with, the models and just kind of, do our thing, and we've just memories and road trips that are really fun. So we've enjoyed doing
I think we spoke to Amazon a couple of weeks back, actually, and she said the same. Pro Wrestling Eve's a really good show, and it's all ladies as well, isn't it? Which makes it unique.
Yeah.
One more from Lisa, 38. She's from Cambridge.
Hi, Lisa.
She says, who was your favourite wrestlers growing up?
Jeff Hardy.
Holly?
Oh, both of them. Well, Jeff Hardy is like, that's the answer. Both of them. He was like our biggest inspiration growing up. From the age of 12, it was just Jeff Hardy, absolutely everything. Like anytime you were sad at school or anything like that, it was just Jeff Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Jeff Hardy. And still now, seeing how well he's doing at TNA and seeing how far he's come is just amazing. Like we said before, being in the same, doing something for the same company he's at right now is just wow. So Jeff Hardy all the way.
Yes.
Brilliant. So that's the end of the fan questions. So now, what's happening with the boot camp now? Have you got to go to America, or is the final going to be in England?
We're not actually sure on that. I think right now we're at home for a little while and just waiting for it to air. So it's exciting, nerve-wracking at the same time, but we're really looking forward to everybody seeing it. Because it was so much fun. So we're just kind of waiting to hear what happens next and waiting for the next phone call. Mm-hmm.
So this show is airing on Challenge TV on January the 1st. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, 10 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, yeah? 10 o'clock. Is that going to run concurrent with the TNA wrestling show as well, or is that?
I think it play after.
Right after, yeah. So and that'll be going for 3-4 weeks. Is that right?
Yes. 2 episodes I think will be airing on the first night, and then you've got an episode a week, and then just before the tour it'll be the last few episodes. So. Yeah.
So all your fans that have wrote into us today, us included as well, we hope to be seeing you girls at Manchester.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Or in my
everybody.
case, I'm from South East, so down in London. I don't know where I'll see you, ladies, as long as I see you there. Ladies, it's been great having you on the show. We wish you all the luck with the boot camp. I'm sure you girls are going to win. And we will be watching on Challenge on the 1st of January.
Thank you very much.
Holly and Hannah, Thank you so
That's
much
what
for
we-
being on C.A.U.K Radio. And hopefully, if you don't mind, we'll catch up with you again in a couple of months.
We'd love to. Thank you very much for having us.
No problem. Take care of yourself, ladies, and good luck at boot camp.
Thank you, you too.
Thank
Bye.
you.